CloneX just came out with what I believe is one of the greatest innovations when it comes to NFTs. So in this video, we are going to be talking about exactly what this innovation is and how it's going to change NFTs, the business model behind it and how it can be sustainable, and what the future outlook looks like for Artifact Studio. Now, just as a disclaimer and to set the right expectations, I do have a CloneX. I am into streetwear, so these are my personal opinions about the project. Obviously, you don't have to agree with them. I'm just here to share you my personal opinion, and you can make your own decision on whether this is something for you. So diving straight into it, the innovation that CloneX came out is this forging mechanic, right? So if you go on the Artifact website, you basically see this thing. It's like CloneX forging is coming soon, but what does that exactly mean? So what you want to do is you want to go into the lookbook and get the inside scoop. So when you dive into the lookbook, essentially what you're going to find is that CloneX has many different DNAs, right? There's going to be the robot, demon, angel, human, Murakami, and depending on the type of DNA you have is going to unlock the ability to purchase merchandise. Let's say we're on the angel right here, right? If we go into C collection, what's going to essentially happen is that you're going to be able to purchase these clothing, which are only available for CloneX holders who have an angel. And so essentially every other DNA is going to have their own collection, right? Now it's actually pretty funny, like on their website, if you don't have an angel and you want these clothes, they're like, hey, no angel, get one now. And then it links you to like OpenSea where you can like purchase, whatever NFT you have, which is quite interesting because probably for people that want specific collections, like an angel or demon, for example, they have to go into OpenSea and buy the floor or whatever the case is in order to get those merch drops. First impression when I'm looking at the clothes, the Murakami drip, honestly, is my favorite one just because the art is so iconic and it's like so recognized and it does look good. Obviously, Takashi Murakami doing good work over there. I don't know exactly what the material will feel like, whether it's going to feel really premium when you hold it in your hand, but just looking from the renderings that they're putting online, it does look pretty good for the most part from a design perspective. Obviously, because Takashi Murakami is a well-renowned pop artist, pretty much like everybody knows him around the world, you actually have a chance to purchase merchandise with Murakami on it combined with like Artifact Studios, which I think will probably go a lot for resale. Now, when you look at the pricing for these products, they're pretty much all the same pricing. Doesn't matter which DNA you have. So at the time of this recording, if you want to purchase this hoodie over here, it's going to be almost $300 for a hoodie. This long sleeve, $130, jacket, $430, and everything's pretty expensive, right? Seems like they're also going to be sneaker as well, but for the sneaker itself, you won't be able to forge it, so you won't get the physical item. So everything up here, whether it's the jacket, the long sleeve, the hoodie, you are able to get a digital version of it as an NFT, which I believe your CloneX and probably other assets will be able to wear in the metaverse. You're also going to be able to forge it, meaning you're going to get a physical version of this as well, so you can wear it in real life. I actually have a robot CloneX, so let's see what I'm able to mint if I do decide to buy some of this clothes, which I probably will. I'm not sure if I'm really feeling the purple that much, but they use a lot of purple for the CloneX backgrounds. They got this vest over here, interesting. For me personally, I'm more interested in the long sleeve and hoodie just based on my personal style, but I can see some people rocking this vest. It's definitely different. If you want to stand out from the crowd, I suppose like people would buy this. Overall, the designs are pretty cool, and I think for these crazy designs, it does make sense because if you want to rock it on your CloneX in the metaverse, you kind of want the craziest thing possible because you're trying to flex on people, right? Everybody has their own taste. Like for me, I'm pretty low key when it comes to like wearing hoodies out, and I'm not trying to show everyone like, hey, look at me, I got a hoodie. But for other people, maybe they want to let other people know that, hey, they have this thing. Take a look at the Genesis one. This is going to be, I believe, available for everybody, and that's why the supply is so high at 20K. These ones are pretty cool. It's more low key. I definitely would rock this hoodie, 0.19. It's not cheap, but you get the NFT, you get the hoodie. Okay, maybe it's high quality. So when you go on the website and then you go into like all DNA on the top right, it's going to show you all the different DNAs for the clones. So demon, robot, human, Murakami, the regular CloneX one, which is available for everybody. On the top left and top right, it's going to have how many items are available in the collection, and it's also going to have the max supply. So if you kind of do the math, you look at the prices and you look at the supply, they're definitely going to make millions off of this drop when it does happen. Now, an interesting thing to note is that this is not Artifact Studios' first time doing a physical and digital NFT, right? So they did have the Artifact Nike Air hoodie, which was a 8888 supply at 0.2 ETH, which is not cheap. Even though it's not cheap, it's not for everybody. It did sell out pretty much instantly. So that does kind of show that there is an appetite for this. What I think Artifact is doing that's really smart is that they figured out how to end the cycle of Ponzi schemes in a sense. And I've been kind of thinking about this myself as well. And if you think about it, the way you kind of provide value for NFT is that you actually sell something somebody values, but they don't expect a return on investment, right? So when Nike comes out with a hoodie and they sell it in the store, when somebody buys like $100 hoodie, $200 hoodie, which they already do sell at regular Nike stores, people don't expect a return on investment. They expect to wear the hoodie and then maybe, wear it for a couple years, donate it when they're done with it, throw it away, whatever the case is. And then that's it. And then they go buy another one, right? Same with sneakers. Some people, they wear the sneakers, they wear it out, and they buy another one. There are people that do collect limited edition stuff, and you can resell it. This whole marketplace for that, right? And so I definitely understand that. But how Nike makes a majority of the revenue is by selling consumables. In my personal opinion, I look at it as a consumable, not necessarily as an investment, right? So like, let's say you're buying this CloneX hoodie and you're just getting the normal one, the Genesis one, for 0.19 ETH. It's about $300, right? A little bit less than $300. So you might get the NFT, you might use it in the metaverse, but the supply is so high, there are probably going to be thousands of these hoodies that exist, which is fine, right? So unless this becomes like an OG collectible, like years from now, you probably won't be able to sell it for a profit, right? The way I look at it is you're actually just buying a hoodie, and then you're also getting an NFT as a bonus that you can use on your CloneX. And by the way, make sure to follow me on Twitter if you want the latest alpha or just things that I'm looking at or talking about, at Patrick Dang on Twitter. Link is also in the description. And now I see on Twitter, there are some people, they'll be making jokes to like engagement farm and stuff like that, or maybe just have an opinion, which is totally fine. They're saying like, oh, like you got to pay $40 for a sock. You got to pay, a few $100s for a hoodie, $120 for a long sleeve shirt. And I understand it, right? Because they think it's expensive. But the thing you have to ask is expensive relative to what? So if you're comparing, let's say, a CloneX hoodie compared to like a Uniqlo hoodie, a Uniqlo one's like $30 to $40. This one's going to be like $300. Yes, it's like significantly more expensive, right? For the person that buys regular cheap stuff, but like good quality, maybe you're going to shop at Uniqlo or something like that, or whatever is good for your budget, then it's not going to be for them. However, there's going to be another segment of the market, and it's definitely more of getting it more into the luxury side of things, who have the money to spend and are willing to spend it, right? Like for example, when I went to NFT NYC and I was doing a little shopping in Soho, I went to different stores, a lot of like men's fashion streetwear stores like Kith, for example. They're selling hoodies that are designer brand. Maybe they have a name, maybe the material is nicer. They're selling hoodies for hundreds of dollars in a regular store, not related to NFTs at all. And people buy it. Like these stores do millions of dollars in revenue every year. So it's like there is an appetite for this. And when you think about CloneX, buying a CloneX to me is actually a luxury product, right? Like right now, a CloneX is like, 10K, 12K, something like that at the time of this recording. The only people who are going to buy it are the ones that really want to collect it and are okay with spending like $10,000, $12,000 on just like a picture, because it is a luxury product. It's not like a necessity, like a $30 hoodie. It's like for people that want these things for a certain reason, whether it's to buy into a community, whether it's a flex, everybody has their own personal reason. I think if you want to look at whether something is expensive or not, it has to be relative to something, right? Something can only be expensive if you compare it to something else. So if you're comparing like CloneX to Supreme, then is it really that expensive? It's like around the same price actually, right? Obviously you do want to maximize revenue if you're a company, right? Because Nike does this all the time, right? They sell commodity products at high prices. They probably have good margins compared to cost of goods sold. That's how it goes when you have a brand, right? Brand is very important. So RTFKT is a brand that people are willing to pay money for, because when you wear that, it actually means something to your little community that knows what a CloneX is. When you did the AR hoodie drop, right, there's 8888 supply at 0.2 ETH price. So on one drop, they're making like 2.7 million, which is, much more than a lot of projects, launching their Genesis collection, right? And this is just a hoodie. So when they drop this thing, they're going to be making tens of millions of dollars probably. What's going to happen is that most likely, because they built a brand that people like, and their consumers have money to buy, and they're already in the luxury market because they already have a CloneX, so they're selling to the right people that are willing to buy, they're probably going to sell out, make tens of millions of dollars, and then when they're gearing up for the next season, those people will probably buy it again. Because you have to understand, like the people that buy this kind of stuff, they're already buying $100 hoodies. They're already buying Fear God or Yeezy. Now this is just another brand that they can go to that's more innovative on the NFT side. So basically, for me, how I look at it is CloneX is almost like a pass. It's a pass for you to be able to buy exclusive product, right? People will put a price to that pass depending on how good the products that they put out. So if RTFKT Studios is coming out with some fire stuff every single season and people are actually using it in the metaverse, people are looking good in it in real life, then the demand is going to go high because there's only 20K CloneXs, right? A lot of people are going to look at this model and they're going to try to imitate it, right? Because it works. Instead of just creating more NFTs, which, you're essentially selling a picture for like a very high price, you can actually create a physical product and create a digital version of that and sell that. And then the genius of it is that people don't necessarily expect a return on investment on their NFT hoodie, right? Because they got the physical thing. So they're already like, okay, well, I got the physical hoodie. That's already worth it to me. And then I got the NFT as a bonus. And maybe if I can sell the NFT later, then it's cool, right? If not, totally fine. And that's pretty much the game. So if you can keep doing that for years to come, then you're able to do like a Supreme style drop. Instead of just selling product, you're also selling product with an NFT digital collectible. Now, there's also different ways to gamify this, right? So for example, on the tweet that RTFKT Studios has on their Twitter, one of the last things they said is that, imagine how these items could get you access to physical events, drops in the future to be interlinked together, unlock experience to be used to customize your avatar. So what I'm I'm understanding is that although they're just teasing it, it's like probably if you have certain product, you're going to be able to buy different products, right? And so it's kind of like they're able to create some value in the NFT to allow you to buy more NFTs. And you might say like, oh, isn't that kind of Ponzi-like? Yeah, but then at the same time, if there's always demand at the end, you're selling physical goods, people are getting perceived value, right? In my opinion, as long as people get a perceived value and they pay for something and they find it worth it and they don't really care if there's a return on investment or not, then I think that is fair. Kind of thinking about it now as I make this video, one of the risks I see to this project is that if they keep creating product, the project success definitely relies on how good this product is and whether or not there's going to be a demand for it. So for example, let's say they're just putting out stuff that's not cool, it's not really hitting the market, nobody wants to buy it, yeah, then it's kind of over, right? But that's the same with like any clothing brand. But I would say because they position themselves as a creator-led brand, focus on creating like 3D assets, which can be physical, and they have this crazy logistics of that is Nike, and they have like some of the most creative and talented people when it comes to doing 3D in the NFT space. It's kind of like they're in a position where it's very difficult to copy, right? Like if someone started from scratch and was like, I'm going to do exactly what CloneX is doing, very difficult to copy, because one, it's like to even create product at mass scale is already difficult. To create demand at that scale is hard. To create the 3D and have it look good and have it work on different metaverses and having it on a body and stuff like that is already a feat in itself. Artifact Studios is, I'm kind of bullish on it just because they're digging such a deep trench that makes it difficult for anyone to compete, and you basically need really good talent and a lot of money in order to fight against them, right? And one interesting thing as well is that, these brands itself, I think they can probably extend outside of NFTs once the clothes get better, once Nike does more advertising for it and advertising it to non-Web3 people. So like if somebody really liked the Murakami drip clothes, for example, and they saw it in the store, or they probably won't sell it in the store, but if they saw it on like StockX or something, like they might be interested in looking at how do I actually get one, right? So, with clothes and, creating demand for that, which there is already a huge demand for streetwear and sneakers and stuff like that, especially collectibles as well. Nike has a huge audience of people that love to collect sneakers. If people see like, oh, like I can buy the sneaker and like flip it and stuff like that, that definitely will get more attention for CloneX. I think it's just smart. And I think a lot of people will take bits and elements of this model and probably apply it to their own industry, right? So it doesn't have to be, selling clothes, for example. Somebody could do an NFT about selling wine, selling watches, selling whatever. As long as the person gets value at the end and can consume it, then it's worth paying for, right? Just because you buy an NFT, it doesn't necessarily have to go up in value. And I think this is the right direction to go, where people are happy to pay, money and get something and not expect a return on investment. And that's the key to making NFTs work, in my personal opinion. That's everything that we have to cover in this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to give it a like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and let me know in the comments what you guys think about CloneX and Artifact Studios. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Patrick Dang. Link is also in the description.